Hello, my name is Christina and you are watching Christina's Critters. Today I will be doing a tour of my tarantula collection. For this video I will be using a mix of scientific names and the common names. Most of the enclosures are labeled with the scientific name, but some are not. And please ignore the water dishes. I will be taking them all out and changing them for new ones once this video is over. First, I want to show you my setup, and then I will go through each one individually. Here is one of my shelves. This one takes the longest to do feeds and waters. See, these are all doubled up back through there and doubled up here. That is section 1. And there's section 2. And section 3. And section 4. So as you can see from this, I do not have a whole lot of available shelf space, which means there's going to have to be a lot of rearranging once I get these guys into bigger enclosures. And starting at the top, these 3 were up here behind these enclosures. We have my Hottie Hottie. Alright, she went way down into her tunnel. You can see her feet a little bit. Next up, we have the Armenia. Alright, there she is right there. And I'll probably call every single one of these she, except for the ones I know are female. Or I will probably call every one of these she except for the ones I know are male. And here we have the Rasty. And it is on display, molted a few weeks ago. Okay, now up to these ones. There's my Beaver Gallus, and she is always out on display and likes to hang out on the door, which makes it very tricky doing feeds and changing the water dish. It's my Robustum. She likes to hide down in her little cave there. You can see her legs a little bit. And here is my Caffriana. Yep, you see her right up there. And here we have my Mira, which probably won't get a good look at. She has a little web tunnel right there. She's out on display until she notices any kind of movement, then she's gone. Alright, here is shelf number 2. And we will start pulling these ones out. Here's my pumpkin patch. Up there she is. Here's one of my curlies, one of 4. There. This one's due for a rehouse. It needs a little bit more substrate. It's a digger. It's my Rhodonchus. We can see it at all. Alright. It's right on top there. Hard to... There she is. And here we have my musculosa. So teeny tiny when I got it. And here is my OBT, one of 2. I'm getting ready to put it in a new house as well. It is going to go straight into its adult enclosure. Just be putting this entire enclosure into the new adult enclosure. Exactly what I did with this one here, and it did just fine. But it's starting to run out of room to be able to flee when I try to open up for maintenance or feeding. Okay. Kochiana Bronopes, dwarf pink leg. There she is. Running away. How to do this with one hand. There's my Pentaurus. There where it's hiding. Alright, here's my Pentaurus. Trying to run away. Alrighty. And the Brazilian Blue Dwarf Beauty. Where'd she go? Okay, well that one's hiding, so see if we can catch it later. This is my tripeppy. It always likes to make a run for it every time I open the enclosure. Now here's my Smithy. Starting to get the coloration on its legs. And it's always just wanting to hang out on top of its hide instead of in its hide. It is a beauty. Next up we have the second Tialbo. This one's a little bit smaller, but a lot bigger than it was when I got it, so the growth rate hasn't been too awful on it. And this is my Velocius, or at least I think it's my Velocius. Don't have any idea if it's in there or not. I haven't seen it in several months, but I haven't gone through and like poked at the substrate or anything. Here's my Autumn. See where she's hiding. There she is. Alright, here's my Verdezi. Except we might have a mold over there. Yep. Yep. Get before it runs away. I don't hardly ever see my NC Gold form. It's always running. It always likes that corner back there. Alrighty, here's my Elgins. Oh, it's running away. This is really hard to do with one hand, so sorry if I'm making anybody nauseous with my camera movements. Alright, I guess that's all we're going to see of the Elgins. It's the only one I ever had run out on me while I was doing a rehouse. But thankfully I had my rehousing bin, which you've seen in other videos, and it didn't get very far. Okay, my Pink Zebra Beauty. This is one of the ones I wanted since I started the hobby and finally got one about a year ago. It is in there somewhere. There it is. Ah, it's running away again. There. It's on the other side. I can't get my hand turned that way. There's the Pink Zebra Beauty. Here's my Bomi. This is my second one. My first one went free range a while back, so I had to get another one. Subopilosum. This plastic makes it really hard to get a clear shot. Makes it look so much bigger than it actually is. Yep, turning away. Back in the corner now. Okay. Aesopulchripes. This one likes to make a run for it when I open the enclosure also. I gotta be very careful. It is lightning fast. Alright, I'm gonna put these ones back and go to the next shelf. Alright, the Pentaurus came out. Got a little bit of mold in there I need to contend with. Really hard to get a clear shot. Yep, there's the Pentaurus. Alright, on to the third shelf. Here I have my communal. This is my Belphora communal. See if we can see it. I see a bum. There's 5 in here. I started with 6, but I did rehouse and found that I lost one. Oh, there's one there. There's 2. Alright, so that's the Belphora communal. This is one of my newest acquisitions. The Xenopus intermedia. There, that one is. Alright, this one I gotta put rocks on because the lid isn't real tight and I am worried of it pushing it up. This is my Phimicibus. There's a label. It's on the other side. It's a Phimicibus species. Like I said, these water dishes are all being changed out for fresh dishes and fresh water at the end of this video. Alright. Here I have my Cambridgei. See if we can see it out and about. It's usually right on the front. Gotta stop turning these one-handed. I don't want to end up dropping one of them. Alright. Hanging out right there. Next up, I have my Sazime. This one here probably won't see. It hangs out down here. Also had one of these escape on me. I was on maintenance. And that is why, even though it's a terrestrial species, I have it in an arboreal setup almost. A fossorial setup. I get a lot more height here to work with. I go through one of these access doors up here and I have a lot less chance of one escaping on me. I've done this with several of them. Several that are considered terrestrial. It's probably down in there somewhere. See I've got the ones I just already showed you. A lot of these are terrestrial, but I have them set up like my Bomi. It gives me a lot more room to work than if I were to have it laying flat. Here is my P. gigas. It's usually not too hard to find. There. It's blending into the tree, so it's a little bit difficult to see. It'd be a lot easier. It'd be a lot better if I could like open the enclosure, but it would not be safe. I just don't have enough hands. Here's one of my H-Max. I have 3. Probably won't see it, but I know it's in there because the water dish is always getting flipped. Food disappears. Unlike the Velocius, where nothing is ever disturbed, that's why I'm not sure if this is in there. But there's its hole. But it is in there. Just not going to see it. Okay, now this is my Classy. This little thing completely shut. I mean, it went completely underground, no entrances whatsoever for close to a year. It was at least 8 months. Now, as far as giving it water when it was underground like that, I would just use one of my pipettes and I would squeeze just a little bit of water down into the corner to where it went all the way to the bottom, and I did that on each corner. So that way she always had access to water even though she wasn't coming out. And here's my Grammostola actaeon. This thing hasn't grown much. It's molded a few times, but not really much difference in size. She turned on me. She was up, now she's going back that way. But that is my actaeon. Alright, now on to the last shelf on this section. There's a second Immaculata. I used to have the water dish right there, but it decided that's where I wanted to make its burrow. So I had to move the water dish. And probably won't see it, but it is definitely in there. And here is my third Immaculata. Again, water dish disturbed, so I know it is in there. Let's see one of his little tunnels. I'll catch them out and about once in a while. This one does not have a label, but it is my Psamopias poker. See if I can find her. Alright, she's hanging out in the back of the enclosure. Making it very difficult to get any kind of a shot of her. And here's my straight horn. Fell in love with my Durlingi, so I had to get Marcelli and Sanderi also. I believe this one's the Marcelli. This won't get a clear shot of it. And here is the Sanderi, which you probably won't see. But it hides back in that mess. And again, it is a terrestrial, maybe terrestrial fossorial species, but I have it in a higher setup because less chance of it running out on me. I have a lot more room to work, and it's small enough to where a fall is not going to hurt it. I mean, it's only maybe a half of an inch, and there's nothing really for it to fall onto to hurt itself. So feel pretty good about having it. in a taller enclosure. And this one we don't ever see. Waiini. Yep, well, it's right there, but I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's there. This is my H. gigas. See if we can find out where it is. I think it's right down in there. I see its legs. I'm going to get down on the ground for the next one. As soon as I move its enclosure, it's going to spook it right into its cork hide. But this is my P. metallica. As soon as I move the enclosure, it's going to take off, and I feel so bad every time I move it because it just runs around like it's scared to death. I'll try to get really slow, see if I can get it turned so we can get the other side of her. Leaf's in the way. Yeah, there she is. I'm not really going to get much better than that. But she's going to start zooming around if I disturb her too much. Like I said, I feel so bad when I do that, because it's like it scares her to death. So we're going to go nice and easy. And she's still there, so I didn't spook her too bad. Okay, well that includes the first section. I said that is going to be the longest section. Let's see, how many do I have on here? There's 7 there. So, and there's 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 27 on those first 2 shelves. So that makes 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44. And add 4 more for the communal. That takes it to 48. So there's 48 individual spiders here. Now, section 2. This one I don't have to move a whole lot of them down. I can pretty much just... This is my redhead. I bought it as a Bumba Kaboka. It might be Harada. I'm not sure if there's a name change or if they're 2 different species. So I'm glad I picked it up when I did, because I have never seen another one. And here is my Brazilian black. Ramassoa Polka. This thing has looked like it's been ready to pop for at least 6 months now. It is huge. And I have not fed it in several months because it's just big. It just won't molt. And here is one of my Nandu Clematises. This one I call Little Miss Sassy Pants, because she's always got an attitude. But she's getting ready to get moved into one of the bigger enclosures. Right now she's in a mini football helmet one, and she is going to go into a basketball one as soon as I get the holes drilled. And here is my mature male Labrador Parahibana. It did eat last time I fed, about a week ago. So it's not refusing food yet. Doesn't eat every time, but it does still eat. Here is one of my green bottle blues. Comatopomacia pubescens. See where it's hiding. There it is. Oh, I just saw it run away. There. And here's my pink toe. I'm not really going to get much of it because it just hangs out on the door. And with all the webbing, it's really hard to get any kind of a shot. But its last molt a couple months ago, it pretty much doubled in size, I would say. Okay, here we have one of my OBTs, well, my second OBT. Probably not going to see it, but it is in there. I don't think that's it. Well, I wish I had another hand. Now I started it out. I just put its enclosure like right there inside it, and then gradually she started making off her web to where now she utilizes the whole enclosure. I did try to put something in there like almost like an arboreal, but she preferred to dig, so I took it out and let her do her thing. Here's my Amelia. There's one of my Samanis. We'll see, she got several water dishes in there because she just kept filling them up. So I kept giving her a new one. Now, so far she has left that one alone. Oh yeah, she has one there, she has one there. Right there she is. And here is a single Belphori in here. And it is out, but as soon as I move the enclosure, it's going to take off. But there she is. I'm going to end up. That's my single Belphori. She's probably almost 3 times the size of the other ones. At least double. And yeah, she has a book on her enclosure because these tapes just aren't cutting it. And then here we have another pink toe. Where's she at? She's down in there. Up, I see legs. She's trying to run away. Every time I move the enclosure, she runs. She's going into one of the display cases as well. She's not going to let me get a good picture. That's my second pink toe. But she's going to be going into the enclosure as soon as I get her on and get it in there right now. Alright, so that's the second section. Now the third section. This is my vegans. Get any kind of a shot of her at all. Too much glare. Alright, and this is my NC, a regular NC. I don't think we're going to see it. It hides out. It's got a lot of webbing now. Yeah, but there is an NC in there. But just not going to see it. And then here I have my blue front. Bought it as a Farmer Plumber Chronorufum. See where it's hiding. There it is. It's taking its time growing. And that's a shot glass solo cup in there. And then here we have the Darlingi. But probably not going to see it. But that's the hole it usually comes out of. They're not going to see it today. Okay, and here I have my cobalt blue. Up, I see feet. It's right there. And here we have a third Tialbo. This one's like a teddy bear. It never gives me any trouble whatsoever. At least it hasn't. I know that can change. Man, so much glare I can't get a picture. Now it went into its hide. It's just too hard to try to take the lids off when I'm holding the camera. That was my curly hair, number 3. Here is my Chalcodes. Chalcodes. And here is my second green bottle blue. Always out until I move the enclosure. So hard to get the colors on it. That's the second green bottle blue. Alright, now on to section 4, the last section. Here's my fourth T elbow. This one is a major hair kicker. I molted a few weeks ago to a month ago. It's one of the few that I see in the water dish a good bit. So I might try giving it a little bit more moisture in its substrate. And here is my very first one I ever got. Rose hair. Grammostola praeteri, or however you want to say it. I just can't get a good shot of her because the way she's angled. You can't see her pink. And here we have my Hermari. See if I can get her to move. There she is. Now you can get an idea of how pretty she is. Raised this one from a sling. It's about 4 years old. She's a decent size. She grew pretty quick. And then here I have my mature male Grammostola pulchripes. Where is he at? He's hiding back in the corner there. I'll have to move this one out of the way. At the Grammostola pulchripes. This one likes to come out and explore when I open the enclosure. So once in a while it will just ease itself right on up out of there. Okay. Next we have my Agen Cantoscera geniculata. It likes to run every time, try to get out every time I open the enclosure also. Over here I have another Nandu. This is a Colorado villosus. Looks almost like the Cantoscera. If I didn't have them labeled, I would probably mix them up. This one's a little darker than the other. One's a little brighter than the other. Comparison. See how the colors on the age end are just a little bit more pronounced. That's the age end. That's the Colorado Velocis. And here is my second Nhandu Chromatus. This one I call Little Mascarity Pants. But of course now, after she molted, she's getting a little bit more of an attitude on her. She's not quite as scared anymore. She stands her ground and slaps the ground more. This is one of the ones that was gifted to me from a young lady named Natalie. And we have that one, and the Major Hair Kicker T-elbow, and the pink toe over here. All came from Natalie. Here we have the Fama Palma Onyx, the Texas Tan. It does not dig. Has plenty of substrate if it wanted to. The only reason it has so much substrate is because it's so big bodied. I don't want it to hurt itself if it fell, but it does not need all that substrate. It's never dug. Never made a single burrow. So I may consider putting it into a different enclosure, into maybe one of the mini helmet ones, so I can use this bigger one for something else. And here I have my other Samani. It is probably down in this burrow. It might come out. Second Samani, but it is down inside its burrow, so seeing it may not work very well. But it is down in there. It's got itself a hole downstairs. Yeah, but it's like back behind that label. Well, not going to see that one. Alright, well that is all the spiders. The only other thing in here is my roaches. This is my feeder bin. I have a breeder bin downstairs. And of course I'll breed in here as well, but this is the one I dig into when it's feeding day. I've tried mealworms and none of my spiders seem to care for them. But they all like the roaches. Well, that concludes the video of my tarantula collection. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching Christina's Critters, and I will catch you next time.